Hi, everybody. Welcome to our second round of BTSN, or what we call BTSN again, because it's been a while that since we've talked to you folks, and so we just want to have a welcome back question and answer session, laid back, have some coffee with the principals, counselors, and our lovely assistant, Miss Monique Dudley. So we'll begin with introductions. I'm Mr. Bell. I'm your principal.
I'm Jennifer Kelder, and I'm your assistant principal.
I'm Aaron Jones, your vice principal.
Harriet Alpha, 7th grade counselor.
Julia Suelos, 8th grade counselor.
And I am Monique Dudley, the guidance and counseling assistant.
And as you'll notice, you are in most of our homes. So if you hear children running around in the background or see cats jumping up and running around, that is the life that we're living right now with COVID and distance learning. So we apologize ahead of time, but that is how education is being done right now. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and we will start with the night's festivities.
I did put in the chat, if you do have any questions, feel free to ask, type in the chat. That is how we'll communicate with you. Oh, let me share your screen. I'm sorry. There you go.
There we go. So first of all, we like we said, we want to thank everybody for showing up tonight, and want to get you guys through some stuff that we know is being asked for, in particular with our program Infinite Campus. Grades just came out. We just did our honor roll step and repeat for those students that got honor on. So there were some questions with regards to how to get on to Infinite Campus, how to check your Roadrunners grades. Our Roadrunners need our support, and that's one huge way that we as parents can help them out, is by making sure that we check their grades. And so Miss Monique Dudley, I'm going to go ahead and be her clicker today. We're going to go ahead and move on to slide number 2, which basically is going to be an explanation on how to get on Infinite Campus. Miss Monique, the microphone is yours.
Well, hello, everyone. We here in the counseling office, myself and Renee, are receiving a lot of calls about Infinite Campus and how to get on and how to activate it. We recently just sent out all the activation key codes to the parents who have not signed into Infinite Campus. And so that's what this slideshow is all about. It's going to take you through how to log in and how to actually get into your Infinite Campus. So you will receive in the mail a really long activation code. It's got numbers and letters. Everything in that activation code will be in uppercase letters. So then you will just log into infinitecampus.com, and in the upper right-hand corner, you're going to click Login. Once you hit Login, it's going to show the screen below where you go ahead and type in just the word Hesperia, and you select the state of California. Once you get in there, it will open up in the next slide. It will open up the result that says parent or student or staff. So you're just going to select on the parent/student. And then the next step is you will click on the second Infinite Campus login where it says campus parent. Next slide. Once you click on that box, it's going to take you to where you see on the far left-hand side of the screen. You're going to go all the way down to the bottom where it says New User, and you're going to click on New User. Once you click on New User, to the right of the screen, it's going to ask you for that really long activation code. Please take your time entering in that activation code because it is upper right-hand corner. You're going to click and letters. It will then end up being messed up. So make sure you just take your time entering in that activation code and then hit submit. Next slide.
Ms. Monique, I have a question as a parent. Is my activation code case sensitive or?
It is case sensitive. It's exactly how it looks on that paper. Good question. So then once you enter in your activation code, you are going to set up your username. It can be whatever you want it to be. I try to keep it very simple, as like your username is going to be your email address, something that you're very familiar with. make that same password, maybe the password that you use for your email or something that you're very comfortable with. You're going to go ahead and enter that in, and then you're going to confirm your username and password. It'll let you know if it's not a good enough password, if it needs more characters, letters, and so forth. Once you enter in your username and password, it's going to actually take you to the next login screen, and it's going to ask you for your email address. This is the email address that if you forget your username and password, it's going to send you an email to. So you want to make sure it's an email that you use often. And then it's going to ask you to use the password that you have just created. So once you do that, you will go, once you actually put in that username and password, you're going to go into Infinite Campus. And once you go into Infinite Campus, on the far left-hand side in the top in green, you're going to see 3 lines. And those 3 lines are what we call a hamburger. And the hamburger is basically going to allow you to get into anything into Infinite Campus, whether it's assignment, grades, you can look at your students' attendance, you can locate where you're going to email your teacher. Everything is going to be on those 3 lines. So if you go into something and you forget where you were, or you need to go back to something, always go back to those 3 lines in the upper left-hand corner. The other instructions on this Infinite Campus slideshow is to go in there and do your online registration. We have a lot of who never went in this school year to update their students' emergency cards. So that's very important. That's where we have updated telephone numbers. We have registration for any kid that you have in Hesperia Unified School District. The cool option on Infinite Campus is once you go in there and you register one kid, it registers any kid that you have in Hesperia Unified School District. So you don't have to update it if you have a kid in elementary and high school or middle school and high school. You do it one time and it is updated for all your students.
Looks like that is Infinite Campus in a nutshell. I don't know if anybody wants to add anything else, but Infinite Campus, just kind of, historically being a teacher in the district, an administrator and a parent as well in the district, Infinite Campus is probably the #1 way to stay on top of what reasoning our students or our Roadrunners grades are what they are. I use it all the time. My wife and I get alerts all the time. We're lucky to have jobs in the district, and so we can check on our daughter's grades right away, instantaneously. But you, as parents, even if your kid you don't work in the district, you can do the same thing by using the app in the Google or Chrome. What's the Chrome App Store called? The Play Store? I forget. But
yes, the Play Store for Android and the App Store for Apple.
And so you'll be able to find the Infinite Campus parent app there as well. And again, it's a nice way to stay on top of when assignments are being assigned, when they're, where they turned in on time, where they turned in late, how many points out of how many points did our kiddos get. It definitely is a big help. Mr. Jones, Ms. Calderon, did I miss anything? I mean, it's pretty straightforward. It's a really nice way to keep on top of what our kiddos are turning in.
I would agree, and I think it's super important for parents to do it and just be part of the team. And it takes a village to raise your child. We're there to support you. If you have any questions, feel free to call us and what you see, or if you need additional help after this video, just let us know.
Right now, we don't have any questions in the chat, so I think everybody seems to be okay. So.
Perfect. And you know what, Mr. Jones, I think you did that on purpose. You gave me the set, and I'm going to spike it to the next slide, because it does take a village. It is a partnership for sure between parents and the school team. And so what we're going to present now is, we want to celebrate some of the positives. We have to celebrate some of the positives in what we're going through right now with distance learning and learning from home. And it is kind of an awkward situation, right? We're in your homes every day, and you're in our homes and our job sites and our offices and our classrooms every day. But we, working together, like Mr. Jones said, we can make this a better experience for our Roadrunners and for the neighborhood, the school in general. Just a little bit of a history, Hesperia Junior High. I don't know if you've noticed, but she is the older of our middle schools in the district. But I always argue that she is the prettier of the middle schools in our district. It always looks like a park to me driving on campus. It doesn't stop amazing me how green it is and that contrast with the blue and the gray. So it is a very, very established school, as well seasoned. But historically, with that being said, we have, sadly so, been labeled a program improvement school. This started way back in about 2000, 2001 with No Child Left Behind. And unfortunately, since those days, Hesperia Junior High was labeled a program improvement school, meaning wasn't doing so hot, needed to make improvements. And even up to a couple of years ago with the dashboard, the new way that California judges and or passes judgment on schools, Hesperia Junior High then got the title of a CSI school, a comprehensive school improvement site, meaning that we still had a lot of work to do and that there still was programs that needed to be improved. However, like Mr. Jones said, I couldn't be here boasting about it if it wasn't for the team that you have in front of you right now, from our counselors to our counseling assistants, our classified staff, our teaching staff, and more, equally as important as all of that, our administrative staff, the young lady that is monitoring our chats, and the young man that was just talking about the village, taking a village to support our kiddos. Couldn't be here and boasting about this without them. You'll see some of our information here, 2020-21 grade report. You'll notice that there was some red, so there was some drops in the number of A's at our school, but there was also an increase in the number of C's, D's, and more importantly than that, a drop in the number of F's earned at Hesperia Junior High. What that means is that from the beginning of last semester to the end of the semester, by Christmas time, we, parents, teachers, staff, administrators, together with students, had made a change for the better and had dropped that number of F's and increased the number of D's and C's. Now, for some parents, guilty as charged, that's probably not going to cut it at home. So we're not saying by any way, shape, or form that we've quote unquote made it, but we are saying that we are making huge strides, huge progress. And because of that, and because of what Mr. Jones will explain with regards to our dashboard and our discipline data, we have accomplished a tremendous feat. And so I'll let Mr. Jones explain, and we'll celebrate a little bit in just a second.
So our suspension rates, if we look prior to the year that before we went into COVID, the 2 years prior, we dropped 5% in suspensions, which is pretty huge. This year, of course, we're down to 0 because of COVID and we haven't been in school. But even before COVID, the culture, the academics, everything is just been on an upswing, and the school's just getting better and better every year. I would say now possibly I know we do. We have the best students of all the middle schools, probably in California, in my opinion. Back to you, Mr.
Absolutely. And yeah, absolutely. No, I agree 100%. You see the little GIF that I chose there is the little Geico gecko, because Hesperia Junior High, comparatively speaking to other schools, other middle schools, is a smaller school. She's not as big as other middle schools, maybe in the state of California, but he's got his little glove on, and with all of those stones working together, all of the people at the school working together, our students working together, we no longer are an underperforming school. Hesperia Junior High, the state of California, has now given us the honor of not being a comprehensive school improvement site. We no longer qualify as an underperforming school. Our grades in mathematics increased, our suspension rate dropping by 5%. Not only is it big, but the state of California considers a drop of 3% or more to be significant change. And so because of those significant changes in our mathematics and our discipline data, Hesperia Junior High does not qualify for being a comprehensive school improvement site. And so we no longer are an underperforming school. That is a huge, huge feat, because for decades, she's had wonderful and good administrative teams and teachers. I was one of them. Mr. Jones was one of them. Ms. Calderon was one of them. She was a student there, by the way. And so we've had wonderful teams, wonderful students, wonderful parents, and teachers and administrators alike. But this is the team that got it done. This is the team that made it happen. And that is something to be hugely, hugely proud of. So I want to thank everybody that's out there watching us on social media, teachers, parents, students. You guys did that, and we did that, and we're going to continue to do that. So in no way is this the we got there, we're done, let's sit back and relax and enjoy. It's let's continue to grind, let's continue to work, and we'll continue to improve Hesperia Junior High and the learning for our students at Hesperia Junior High. And with that, Ms. Calderon, would you like me to explain the parent feedback, or would you like to explain the parent feedback?
I can go ahead and do that, but I don't know if Mrs. Azuelos and Miss Acosta have any things that they want to add before I get into this.
Sure.
Perfect.
Part of learning, and especially during this time, this difficult time, is also the social emotional health of our students. And if the rise in depression rates are up and students struggling, and even though we're not physically at the school site, the counselors are available for students and their parents. We have available resources out there. We can still meet with students virtually or on the telephone or via email. So please reach out to us if your student or even your family, someone in your family is struggling and needs some additional support from the counseling office.
I'm going to go ahead and list your emails in the chat as well, if that's okay.
Absolutely.
Perfect.
Sorry. Trying to multitask here, people. I will
No, take your time. Take your time. We just want to assure everybody that, like Mrs. Azuelos and Ms. Acosta said, we are making sure, and one of the biggest things that we want to include next year is bringing in social emotional strategies and making sure that we're including those, that our staff and our teachers are including those on a day-to-day. So a great point on that, Mrs. Azuelos and Ms. Acosta. You guys are working hard, taking care of our kiddos out there as they need. And so we'll continue to do that. And parents, if you have any suggestions, any questions, any things that come to mind, even if it's after today, tomorrow, next week, feel free to drop us a comment on one of our social media platforms or email us, and we'll be happy to look at those suggestions. And if we can incorporate them, we absolutely will, to see how we can improve the social emotional aspect for our kiddos.
And along the lines with that, in order for us to ensure that we're serving your students accordingly with the programs that we run on campus, along with purchases that we make that can be anywhere from student engagement to things that they'll get to see once they're back at the site. So some of the questions in the parent feedback surveys that we are asking is primarily just focusing in on education. We want to ensure that your students are receiving the best education and wanting to gain feedback in order for us to allow for future maybe professional development and things that we can do to allow your students to get the best education they can. Therefore, we're asking, these are going to be open for quite some time, but we wanted to go ahead and give these out to you early. So if you would like to participate in giving us feedback, there is a parent survey and there is a student survey. One is in English and one is in Spanish. So based off your preference, all you need to do is you need to go to any web browser, whether that's on your phone or on a computer. You'll just type in the URL at the very bottom that says bit.ly, and then whichever one you're going to fill out. You only need to fill it out once, and we will take that information and go ahead and apply it to our plan as a school.
And Ms. Calderon, you just reminded me, we do want to showcase some of the opportunities that we have for our students out there. One of, I think, the major things that has changed at the junior high, or is a change that parents are going to notice at Hesperia Junior High, is as students start to register, you're going to see a larger selection of CTE classes, in our electives offering. And what those are actually California or career technical education courses. Just to name a couple, we do have engineering. That is a CTE course. It's qualified for CTE. So our teachers do bring in industry experts. They do have projects that are aligned with projects and programs that Hesperia High School, Sultana High School, and Oak Hills High School do offer as well, so that our students, if they choose to go to our other schools, have that opportunity. But when they go to Hesperia High, we'll have a huge opportunity with some of the programs that they have in their DEMA Academy at Hesperia High. Those are courses that are very aligned to the courses that we have and are, again, a pathway for our students to be able to experience, move on to Hesperia High, and then possibly move on from there to a career and or technical school. With regards to engineering, another one that I think is going to be a popular one is our construction technology CTE course. We do offer construction technology now. We'll be offering it next year as well. And again, Hesperia High School has a very, very robust program that they offer so that our students can feed into and possibly have a career choice or a technical school that they can attend after that. And so that's one of the major things that we're doing, aside from also, like Ms. Calderon said, looking for opportunities to get better in our practice as practitioners, either in the classroom or as administrators, counselors, and our classified staff as well. I just realized I look like I'm telling a scary story. I just noticed that you can't see anything going on behind me. You can see the leprechaun face with I should have had a flashlight and just told scary stories tonight. So Ms. Calderon, we don't have any questions from anybody on our social media?
No, we do not. I don't know if we wanted to take the time now. I know it's still in the works, but I don't know if our counseling team would like to address registration in the future and things, ideas, anything along those lines. But we have no questions in our chat, some private comments that I've asked them to email us directly, but they thank us, our admin and counseling team, and this is fantastic information. So good job, everyone.
I will just take a moment to talk about, we're still trying to put everything together, but registration for electives, selecting your elective class will take place online through that parent portal that Ms. Dudley walked you through earlier, or the student portal. And so we will be sending out more additional information on that as we get closer to probably March. But it will all be online as well.
Ms. Calderon and Ms. Acosta, you just both reminded me something that's been a popular topic on our social media, and I take full responsibility for this one, is the topic of school pictures and or school ID pictures for the year. We know that was a very hot ticket item at the beginning of the year. Unfortunately, our charge was to make sure that our staff and our teachers were ready for distance learning. Obviously, as you all know, on a moment's notice, we didn't have time to prepare for distance learning. We were anticipating to come back to normal, quote unquote, school. Because that didn't happen, and because our numbers were increasing, and just out of an abundance of precaution, I did make the decision to hold off on taking school pictures and or focusing on school pictures, because I wanted to make sure that our community was safe, that our kids were safe, and that we minimized the contact between students and a photographer or vice versa, and making sure that everybody was safe. So the good news in all that is that we will be shortly putting out an announcement. We are working with our photographer and following all of our protocols from CDPH and otherwise, and the photographer themselves. We will be offering school pictures coming soon to a Instagram feed near you and or a social media feed near you. And the exciting thing is that we decided that because this is an unprecedented year, the ID cards are not going to be normal. We're going to be doing Zoom ID cards. The photographer is going to be able to print ID cards that look like what our lives have been like for the last year, since March 13th of last year. So we are hoping to get you that information as soon as possible. That is hot off the press. We just got done negotiating to make it sound super official with the photographer a couple of days ago. So that is coming your way. We are going to have school pictures. Again, hot ticket item. And we are going to make some collectible, memorable Zoom ID cards for our kiddos to have memory of 2020 and how challenging that was.
Here in the counseling office, we have been getting calls about open enrollment, and we've already started receiving applications for the next school year. Open enrollment isn't yet, so the applications that are coming in, we have to actually deny them or close them out. Renee and I are getting our 8th graders ready for the high school, so we're already tagging them over for the next school year. We are calling to verify if there's an address change. We are calling to make sure that we send the kids to the right high school that the parent and the student would like to attend. So you may be receiving some phone calls from us about that. But open registration will be sometime in March, and it will also be placed on our social media. So you don't have to worry about all of those parents who are coming over from Cypress, or they want to do an intra-district transfer. You don't need to worry about that just yet. That will happen in March.
Thank you, Ms. Monique.
You're welcome.
All right. If there aren't any questions popping
Still
up,
no questions, just little
All
things
right.
that we're building. Parents asking about how to improve students' GPAs. So I told them to call into the office. If you do want us to talk about your kid specifically, just call into the office and we'll go ahead and answer the questions, just because this is a public forum and we want to make sure we have those individual conversations in private.
Absolutely. You know what, Ms. Calderon, that's a great question. We can offer a generic response. So I like what you're saying about them calling in so we can target and be real strategic about getting a plan of action going for specific students. Thank you. Is a Regina Bell logged on? Because she was threatening to log on and shoot me some technical questions. So she better not be out there lurking on our social media.
Right now we have 15 viewers on Facebook, and I'm not sure about YouTube.
All right, very good, very good. How many viewers?
15.
Not bad, not bad. We can go with that. It's being recorded, so it will be archived for parents to go back and watch at their convenience, correct?
Yes.
All right. Let me see if I can advance us to the next slide. Well, it's our intention to be here till approximately 7 o'clock and answering any questions that anybody may have. So those of you that are out there, thank you for joining us. And if you would like, you can stick around and ask us some questions, just kind of hang out with us. It's tough out there, and just getting some unwind time and some get to know you time with our team is what we're going for right now. So we're here for a Q&A. If you guys have any questions, you want to know something about us, or you just want to get to know our admin team, our counseling staff, our assistant, Ms. Dudley, let us know. So you know what, though? I'll ask you guys something. We had an interesting conversation with Carrie and with Ms. Julie, otherwise known as Ms. Acosta and Ms. Azuelos. We were talking about a concept that right now is like, it's at the forefront, right? Like, what are you doing to, as an individual, like take care of yourself? Like what is that de-stressor for us? Because it just seems like everything's coming at us. One of our assistant superintendents talks about standing at a shoreline and watching a tsunami wave come at you. And that's kind of what it feels like being a parent. And it's kind of what it feels like, I imagine, being a student. But being a parent and an employee and or trying to be is got to be huge. So make sure that you're out there and taking care of yourselves. Make sure that you are seeking that help. It could be a phone call to us. If you need anything, we're here. We're here with you. More importantly than anything, we're all going through this together. talking to some families that were doing the step and repeats. We're definitely with you guys. We're definitely here to hear you out and help out. So I'll open that up. You know, if you want to share as an admin team, just kind of what you do, you know, let's have that conversation and see if we can maybe, you know, hit home to some of our families and just what we do. Cause, you know, some of us are parents and some of us have, you know, kids that have flown the nest, and we'll go from there.
Well, one of the things I do, I have an 8th grader who attends here, and I also have a 6th grader who attends Crystal Elementary. So while I'm here at work and they're supposed to be in their Zooms and doing their homework, it's just part of my routine is to go through their to-do list on their Google Classrooms. When I do get home, I ask them to teach me, you know, show me what you did today. So then I can go through their Google Classroom and see what assignments are missing. Do they need help with anything? There's additional tutoring or one-on-one time that they may need with their teacher. Sometimes, you know, having a teenage kid and a kid going into the middle school, it's a challenge, and it's a challenge to be able to do it with the both of them and come home from work and then get dinner done. But I feel like since we are all going through this at the same time, I don't want them to feel as though, you know, I'm just pounding them. So then what we do is I've learned how to skateboard where I didn't know how to skateboard before. And we do that as a family. We'll go out and skateboard. We have now taken on skating. I like to do facials. I've gotten my husband to do facials with us. So we'll have family math time. You know, you just step out of the normal of what you do and just try to be together as a family. This is really a tough time, and this is a time where you can bond. You can learn a lot about your kids and you know, even better about your spouse, because now you guys have to be at home all the time, or, you know, you got to take turns. Someone's learning how to do math a different way, because I'm not a Common Core mom, but I've had to learn how to do Common Core. And so again, what I just ask my kids to do is to teach me, and that opens up the opportunity for them to start talking to me and explaining it to me how they see it. And then I can explain it to them how we were taught. And then we kind of come in the middle. No, it is not easy at all, but it doesn't mean it's not. And you'll do it
such
together.
a huge concept for students.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
Good on you.
it's parents feel that if they take time for self-care, then they're being selfish. But I think if they take the time for self-care and refresh and renew, they're stronger and more support for their kids. And they also let their kids know it's important to take care of yourself as well. So do something you enjoy, listen to music, read a book, bubble bath, walk, whatever it can be, you know, a few minutes every day, just so you can be refreshed for yourself and your family.
Yeah. I echo what Ms. Dudley is saying. I have a high schooler and I have a young lady at Hesperia Junior High, and just seeing them go through the day to day, and, you know, having to be at work and not be with them and not see what they're going through on a daily has impacted me. And it has allowed us, though, to, you know, it has allowed me to admit to them, like, hey, look, you know, I work every day, but, and, you know, I'm probably not, you know, all here right away when I get home, but it's given me that opportunity to make an effort and have to put time aside to hang out as a family. That's one of the things I know everybody talks about, you know, how bad it is that we're going through what we're going through. But one of the blessings in my family is that we have been able to hang out together. Like Ms. Dudley said, I think it's huge to have your kids, to be open enough to allow your son or daughter or your road runners to teach you something is huge, because it solidifies it in them, what they just learned, right? It gives them an opportunity to do that. But like Ms. Azuelos just said, it gives them that insight of like, hey man, we are people, like we're all in this together. Being an administrator, yeah, that's, you know, a principal, a vice principal, and assistant principal, doesn't matter. We're people, and that, you know, them being able to see that vulnerability and go through it with us is important. It's huge, and it's been a big opportunity for us and my family, and I know we're trying to take advantage of it. But I won't tell you guys my skating story. So Mr. Jones, you're always walking around de-stressed, man. What do you do? Miss Calderon's always got a smile on her face.
Well, I think first of all, I'd just like to add to what you said. And, we're all working. A lot of our parents are out there and they're employed and they're working and absent from the home while their kids are left at home. And I talked to a lot of parents from the office, and I just want to make all the parents out there aware that we do have the after-school tutoring program. If you're not there and your kid isn't and your student isn't being successful as you would like them to be with the regular class, we have that after-school tutoring. We also have, student support times. If they need that, they can search that. So there is some additional support if you are working. As far as for myself, for de-stressing, I like to, hang out with the family. I think that's probably the largest thing right now that everyone's doing, and what we can do the most of is hang out with our family. But I also like to focus on outdoor activities when possible and practical. Just get out there and see the world still, and not have that cabin fever building up or office fever, because sometimes we don't see the light of day a lot. So I think just being out in the world where you can, it helps me out a lot. So.
I try to get away from technology, but everybody on the screen that works with me knows that it's super hard, because there are a lot of responsibilities that I have right now. But I think most importantly, on the days that I do have hard days, which today is one of them, I would just say that I know after this, I just plan on turning off my computer and not being near it at all. Send some memes to some funny people, make me laugh a little bit, kind of cheer myself up. But as was echoed before, just really making sure that I'm spending time with family and, allowing myself that downtime. A wise person, Mr. Bell, told me that work's always going to be there, school's always going to be there. If you don't have a deadline, feel free to, turn stuff off, spend time doing something that you love.
It's funny you say that, because with my daughters, with my girls, a couple of weeks ago, it really broke them. They got to the point where it was like, okay, this sucks. Like, we don't see our friends. We don't, and sitting in the room all day, like, it hit me seeing them from morning till, like, right now, I can hear one of them over my right shoulder, still working on the class, still working on homework. And so one of the things I've done with my wife is we've kind of mandated what you just said, like, no, it's lunchtime, turn it off. I'm surprised they're still going, because not that I don't allow it, right? But they're really diligent, but I don't like them being on right now, because school's normally out at 3:18. If they're done with homework by 4 or 5, turn it off, turn the screens off, go, like Mr. Jones just said, go outside. I've even heard people say, just go outside and stare at a tree for a while. Listen to the trees blowing in the wind, like, just go out there and get some fresh air. It's important, and that's what our kiddos are missing right now. They're missing that time outside, that lunchtime, the de-stress time, the unwind time. Miss Calderon and I, you know what that reminds me? We were in a training yesterday. Speaking of trying to get better at what we do for you guys, what was it that Dr. Magana said yesterday, Miss Calderon? Emotion conditions motivation.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Did I mess up his quote?
No, that was
emotion conditions motivation.
We did get a compliment in the chat. They wanted to just say thank you for honoring the honor roll kids this week. It's a bittersweet time, especially for our 8th graders that haven't been on campus their 8th grade year. And I know for 7th graders, they're probably wandering around like, where am I going? What am I walking to? So I know we have plans in the future to celebrate and commemorate our 8th graders, but also welcome in our 7th graders. So we're not done yet. This is the beginning of second semester. So
I would just like to add that we appreciate you guys bringing your students by to pick those up, because that kind of made our day too. We don't get to see a lot of students, and when you bring them in, and we, especially some of our 8th graders that we saw grow up their 7th grade year, just to see them makes our day. So it was a lot of fun. We hope that everybody at our school in the future will get on honor roll, that our kids will continue just to skyrocket in academics. And but we'd love to celebrate your academic successes. Thank you so much, guys.
Absolutely. Well, if we don't have any more questions and you all don't have anything more, I think we can maybe let our parents go and call it at 40 minutes. What do you think? All right. All right, everybody. Thank you guys. We miss you guys. Hopefully we'll see you guys back soon. If not, we'll see you next year. 8th graders, we love you guys. We miss you. Have fun in high school, but we'll get there. We'll get there. We'll be celebrating more, like Miss Calderon said.
Thank you so much for joining us. All right, I'm going to go ahead and end our broadcast.